Welcome to my channel. This is Yoga While Dishes, creating novelty and stimulation while getting it all done. So I'll keep the intro short, but simply I am showing you how I incorporate movement into a daily task. So you'll see that I'm bending over into the dishwasher doing a half moon pose as a way of getting a nice hip opener. But it also keeps my mind, occupied because you see what happens. I'll sometimes put ketchup in the cabinet and then find it the next day. And so I'm switching sides, as you see. And on the screen on the right, you can see, what the pose looks like in a class, on the mat for some of us. And yeah, I do a few poses just in this chore on this day. And I am, with my ADHD, I am, my mind's very busy. But I'm thinking about which move am I going to do next? And did I switch sides? Am I feeling, stable today? Is my hip on one side feeling more sore than the other side? Oh, that is my friend's Tupperware that I'm deciding whether to return or not. Thinking about all the Tupperware that I have that I need to return to my friends. In a moment, you'll see a forward fold, which I like to incorporate with the hip hinge. So I'm not rounding the spine, I'm keeping my trunk aligned. So I'm getting, that glute activation, that stretch of the back of the hip. And here I am switching sides now with my half moon. And I try not to obsess about balance, balance and stability is important, but um, getting the same exact pose on each side when I'm, getting my movement in this way is kind of impossible depending on where, what I'm doing and where I'm positioned. And I'm already getting warm just from that. So taking a layer off as I continue. This is a big job on this day. I went into this chore without a plan, so I'm really just doing what feels good. And I'm always trying to incorporate some grounding with my feet, really focusing on using all the corners of my feet. I like to call it the tripod of my foot, sort of the perimeter, the center of heel, big toe mound, pinky toe mound. And that works that plantar fascia, that connective tissue in the soles of the feet really well, which I need to do to really work on my gait, my posture, which has been a lifelong journey. But what you see me doing here is splitting my legs so that I'm more in like a wide-legged stance. I'm not forward folding, but as I bend over to the dishwasher, I'm getting a side bend. So it's very much like what you see on the right side of the screen. I'll also say too, this helps me stand a little bit lower as a tall person. I'm 5'8". It helps me the sink be more level, so I'm less crouched over. So if you ever have back discomfort when doing the dishes, standing in this way could be a helpful way to find some ease in the body. Right. So standing up, I remember getting a little uncomfy and ready to move in a different way. So here you see me in a very moderate version of tree pose. I'm also pressing the front of my hips into the sink. But as you can see, I'm kind of crouched over because I'm a tall person. So, but I'm still getting that external hip rotation on the left side, and I'm still doing the dishes, right? And it does help me keep my mind focused on the task. I'm not getting distracted. I'm not wanting to check my phone. And I'm excited about what's going to come next and doing the other side. Here's my wide-legged forward fold side bend on the other side, which is kind of awkward with the sink or with the dishwasher being positioned where it is. But it works, right? It's yoga can be a challenge. And so it's a different kind of challenge on this day. Here I am switching sides so I get that external rotation. This is my more tight hip on this right side. So I can see that my leg is even not as high here. And eventually, I am turning my body forward so I can get a warrior three pose in. So you can see that on the right side of the screen, it's bringing the leg back without the external rotation of the hips. And I do this almost every time I do bend down. If I'm not doing a forward fold, I'm bending down in that way. And now it's time for a coffee break. So, little treats. If you're familiar with the Pomodoro method, of doing a short stint of tasks and then taking a break for something that's more enjoyable or less, you know, less work. You can see that I realize, I'd like to stretch my lower back. So I am now in a forward fold, and again, at that with that hip hinge, but then I start to allow my spine to round. I'm slowly rolling up to stand. I've been doing that a lot lately and teaching it a lot lately because I think, the hip hinge is really important. It focuses on keeping your bones aligned, your bones stacked, your trunk aligned. But the spine can also round, and it should round. We should remember all the rotations of the vertebrae of the spine. So that felt amazing. And now I'm just in a Tadasana, a mountain pose. And so it doesn't look like much, but what I'm actually doing is rolling my shoulder joints back, giving unsolicited advice as well on the Our Place pan, which was great. But I've now upgraded to stainless steel, and I highly recommend. All right, so I'm scanning the counters to see what's left and getting my Warrior 3 on the opposite side so I can grab the multi-purpose spray. And yeah, doing some wiping, thinking about what else can I do? How about another forward fold? Nice roll down, a roll up. And I'll start to wipe the counters here, and really looking forward to some shoulder opening here. So what I'm essentially doing is putting myself in a down dog position, but just sort of flipped in space. Left side needs some love. And I'm also wiping the counter at the same time, and that's feeling good. And I'll start doing the same on the right side, just getting some shoulder rotation and some upper body, since I'd focused so much on the hips, which have been bothering me lately. So I think that's what inspired me on this day to get a little extra movement in. But 20 minutes have passed, and I've got 7 poses in, and I've done all the dishes. So feeling good. And we'll probably do a little bit more movement later, but I know that I'm going to be sitting on the couch today, probably editing this video, getting some hip movement here, just moving side to side. If I'm not doing yoga, I'm usually dancing. I hope you try this at home. And if you're feeling embodied and curious, there is much more. Find me on Instagram, YouTube, and my school page, and join my community, and we'll learn together along the way.